What's up, everybody? It's me, Anthony, and it's the time of the week again. It's Anthony's NFL Picks. Week 16. I cannot believe I'm saying this, though, but we are now in the 16th week of the NFL already. I know, it's crazy. This season has gone by very quickly, and I always say that every week, though, but still. I remember it was week 1, and now we're in week 16, meaning that the playoffs are actually coming very soon. And before we start, I want to say something weird. Last time I had a full week, I went 15-1. Last week, I went 15-1 the same way. I only got the Buccaneers-Chargers game wrong, but other than that, I went 15-1 last week, and now my overall record is 153-70, which is still really good right now. But anyways, before we start, please like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bells to get updated on my newest content. Anyways, let's jump right in, and kicking it off, we got an AFC West matchup between the 9-5 Broncos and the 8-6 Chargers. Broncos, they're here after beating the Colts 31-13 after Anthony Richardson threw for 2 interceptions, causing the Colts to lose. They were winning most of the game. It was like 13-10 or 13-7 in the third quarter. Then Bo Nix just came out of nowhere and just started playing good football. I might get Offensive Rookie of the Year along with Jayden Daniels because it turns out 2 players in each conference can win Rookie of the Year. So I think either him or Jayden Daniels, my man Jayden Daniels. But anyways, they're going to LA against the Chargers, who got completely clobbered by the Buccaneers, 40-17. They were winning 17-13.5. However, Baker Mayfield had an amazing game. They were in LA at all places, and they lost that game 40-17. To be honest, there's something in my brain, right? I was talking to my friend Nick earlier. He's actually going to be going to a game. We'll talk about that later. My friend Nick, right, was telling me stuff that I think the Broncos could win. However, the Chargers are at home, though, and I'm fighting with myself, but I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one. The Chargers really need to win this game, and I think they're mad, so I'm going to go with them. Chargers will beat the Broncos 33-30. Chargers will be 9-6. The Broncos will also be 9-6. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got 2 Saturday games. That's right, we have 2 Saturday games because the season's coming to an end. We're in the 16th week, by the way. Anyways, we got the 9-5 Texans and the 13-1 Chiefs. Texans, they're here after they beat the Dolphins 20-12, coming back from their bye week 14. They beat Miami week 15. You know, they actually also won the AFC South for the 2nd consecutive year in a row. So the Texans are in the playoffs already. And they're taking on the 13-1 Chiefs, whoever right now may be in trouble because Patrick Mahomes is questionable with a right lower ankle injury, which can, cost him that. And if he doesn't play, I think the Texans could win. However, it's in Kansas City, and if he does play, even if Mahomes doesn't play, Carson Wentz is a really good quarterback still. He's a good backup. So it won't be the end of the world because, again, the Chiefs always find ways to win games, and I think they're going to three-peat this season. I think that they're going to win this game, but it's going to be a very, very close game, though. I'm going to go with Kansas City because, again, the Chiefs are just a really good team still. Even though Mahomes is out, they're 13-1. They are 5-0 in their division. They beat the Browns 21-7. So it just makes sense for me to go with Kansas City on this one. Chiefs will beat the Texans 24-21. Chiefs will be 14-1. Texans will be 9-6. We move on with the next game. And our last Saturday game, it's an AFC North matchup between the 10-4 Steelers and the 9-5 Ravens. Steelers are here after losing to Philadelphia, losing 27-13 in the Battle of the Pennsylvania Bowl. Steelers are still a really good team, however, and they also clinched the playoffs despite the loss because, I don't know how they clinched the playoffs, though, but, they're in the playoffs now along with the Texans. They both clinched last week. Now they're going on to Baltimore against the Ravens, who are 9-5, who are here after obliterating the Giants 35-14. Lamar Jackson had a really good game in New York, and I think they're going to beat the Steelers. I think they're going to split the series with the Steelers, but I think the Steelers could win this one, but I'm going to go with Baltimore. I may be wrong on this one, but I'm going to go with the Ravens. Ravens, I think they're going to split the series because, again, the Ravens are a really good team. They got Derrick Henry, don't get that wrong. They got Lamar Jackson, they got Zay Flowers. They have a lot of good weapons. Mark Andrews, very good tight end. He had a pretty good game also against the Giants. So it just makes sense for me to go with the Ravens on this one. They're at home, so it's going to be an easy Raven win, I think. Ravens will beat the Steelers 23-20. Ravens will be 10-5. The Steelers will also be 10-5. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we are now on Sunday games. We got the 2-12 Giants and the 7-7 Falcons. And fun fact, my friend Nick is actually going to this game in Atlanta on Sunday, actually, of the Giants-Falcons game. Nick, if you're seeing this, hi, and welcome to my channel. Anyway, I'm going to go with the Falcons. The Falcons, they came here after they beat the Raiders 15-9 yesterday on Monday night. The Falcons, they're all right, though, but however, they have an easy schedule after this. After this, they play my Commanders, and then after that, they take on the Panthers. I think they're going to beat the Giants because the Giants are just bad. The Giants are 2-12. They lost to Baltimore. They're 0-8 at home. Now they're on the road. They have won 2 games on the road. They beat the Browns and the Seahawks this season. Do you think they're going to beat the Falcons? Probably not. They're tanking. They're just not a good team, the Giants. They're just bad. So you know what? I'm going to go with Atlanta on this one. Falcons will beat the Giants 20-14. Falcons will be 8-7. Giants will be 2-13. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC North matchup between the 12-2 Lions and the 4-10 Bears. Lions are here after losing that close game at home against Buffalo 48-42. The Lions are also in a lot of trouble right now because they have a lot of injuries they suffered. Aleem McNeil on the Lions is out with a 20 CL this season, which is a huge no-no. And also, David Montgomery is also out with a season-ending MCL surgery he's going to be going through, which is a huge disadvantage for the Lions. However, they're going to be away in Soldier Field against the Bears, who they almost had a hard time beating the Bears on Thanksgiving, 23-20. And the Bears are here after getting completely clobbered by Minnesota again, 30-12 this time. They have lost 6 straight games. 6 straight games. Ever since that Hail Mary loss against my Commanders in October, the Bears have not won a game since. They fired Matt Eberflus. They've just been so bad, Chicago. And because of that, I'm going to go with the Lions. The Lions play very good, though. I think they could still do great despite all the injuries they suffered. They did really good without Aiden Hutchinson. So it just makes sense for me to go with the Lions. Lions will beat the Bears 28-22. Lions will be 13-2. The Bears will be 4-11. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the 7-7 Cardinals and the 3-11 Panthers. Cardinals, they're here after they beat the Patriots at home 30-17. Kyler Murray, they ended off their 3-game losing streak after losing twice to Seattle and to Minnesota. They finally came back. They beat the Patriots. However, they're going to be in Carolina against the Panthers, who are improving a little bit. They actually beat the Eagles almost, and they also lost to Dallas. They got completely just destroyed by them. But again, the Panthers are rebuilding. They're kind of, they're also eliminated from the playoffs, and I also forgot to mention the Bears also got eliminated from playoff contention as well. Both are not going to Super Bowl 59, not a surprise. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I think they could win this game. However, the Panthers could do something because Bryce Young is showing a little bit of improvement. They're playing very close. Even though, they got completely blown out by the Cowboys. But they almost beat Philadelphia, though. So I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals on this one. Cardinals will beat the Panthers 24-17. Cardinals will be 8-7. Panthers will be 3-12. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the hot 8-6 Rams and the 4-10 Jets. Rams, they're here after they beat the 49ers in that sloppy Thursday night game 12-6, only scoring field goals, no touchdowns. But the Rams have been playing very hot lately these last couple of weeks. They've been doing really well. Puka Nacua did amazing in Buffalo on last Sunday, or 2 Sundays ago. He played very good, Puka Nacua. Matthew Stafford still has some gas in his tank. Cooper Kupp is really looking good. Kyren Williams is really, really good. But Puka Nacua looks amazing. He's like a Hawaiian version of Justin Jefferson. Maybe too young to say that, though. But he's in his second year, though. But I like Puka Nacua. He's a really good player on the Rams. I think they're going to beat the Jets. However, the Jets might play a close game, though. The Jets are here. They're both coming back from wins, these teams. The Jets beat the Jaguars 32-25, and they're 4-10 finally. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. They're going to probably lose to the Rams on this one, and I'm going to go with them on this one. Rams will beat the Jets 29-24. Rams will be 9-6. The Jets will drop to be 4-11. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an NFC East matchup between the 12-2 Eagles and my 9-5 Commanders, baby. Let's go. We're home in Washington, D.C., baby. The Eagles, they're here after they beat the Steelers in the Pennsylvania Bowl. Pennsylvania, baby. 27-13. And ever since then, the Eagles have won 10 straight games. They were 2-2 ever since their bye week 5. They have been 10-0. They have not gotten a loss. The Eagles are in the playoffs also, by the way. I think I already told you this last week. But the Eagles are really good. And while my Commanders, they're 9-5 though. They won 2 straight. They beat the Titans. They came back from their bye week and they barely beat the Saints. We almost choked against them. We were winning 20-7. They almost lost the game 20-19. It turns out they're going to go for a 2-point conversion. They blocked that. If they didn't go for the 2-pointer, if they went for it, we would have probably been 8-6, probably been in trouble. But we're 9-5 though. However, we're taking on the Eagles, and these guys knocked us down on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago, 26-18. However, I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. But a lot of people saying the Commanders could win this one, but I'm going to go with the Eagles. The Eagles are unstoppable. I think they could stop the Lions. I think it's going to be Chiefs-Eagles for Super Bowl 59. Rematch of Super Bowl 57. I'm going with Philadelphia all the way. Saquon Barkley has been amazing ever since then, so I'm going to go with them. Eagles will beat the Commanders 35-27. Eagles will be 13-2. Commanders will drop to be 9-6. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a lot of division battles this weekend. It's an AFC North one between the 3-11 Browns and the 6-8 Bengals. Browns, they're here after losing against Kansas City 21-7, and turns out Nick Chubb is out for the whole season. He broke his foot during the game against Kansas City, so he's out. And it doesn't matter anyway because the Browns are out of the playoffs. However, the Bengals, they're still trying to make a playoff push right now, and they're here after they beat the Titans 37-27 after Will Levis got benched, but we'll get to them later. I'm going to go with the Bengals. The Bengals are at home. They've been playing a little bit better. They won 2 straight. They beat the Cowboys on Monday night, and they beat the Titans. I think they could still, hopefully clinch a playoff spot. I don't think that's going to happen, though. But I still think Cincinnati is going to win this game, so it's not a big a deal. Bengals will beat the Browns 28-10. Bengals will be 7-8. The Browns will be 3-12. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an AFC South matchup this time. It's between the 3-11 Titans and the 6-8 Colts. Both teams are coming back from losses. The Titans are here after they lost to the Bengals. They were winning in the second quarter, some of it, and then they lost the game 37-27. They're going on to Indianapolis against the 6-8 Colts, who also lost against the Broncos 31-13. They blew that game, which I thought the Colts were going to win that game. They were winning most of it. I thought, oh, God. Then after that, Bo Nix showed improvement. He didn't give up. And then bada bing, bada boom, they're already in. So I'm going to go with the Colts. The Colts, I don't think are going to make the playoffs along with the Bengals. I think they're done for the season. I think the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Broncos are already in the playoffs. So I'm going to have to go with the Colts on this one. But again, the Titans are also really bad. They're so bad that Will Levis got benched in the third quarter for Mason Rudolph. And Mason Rudolph is going to be starting against the Colts week 16, which I find funny. I'm going with the Colts, actually, I think. Colts are going to win this game. It's going to be a close game, though, but I'm going to go with them. Colts will beat the Titans 19-16. Colts will be 7-8. Titans will be 3-12. We move on with our next game. Coming up at our next game, we got the hot 12-2 Vikings and the 8-6 Seahawks. Vikings are here after they beat the Bears on Monday night yesterday, 30-12. They look really good right now, and because of that, after Seattle lost, actually, they clinched the playoff spot, so the Vikings are now in the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division or not, because they're still the Lions. They look really good. The Packers can't win the division. Either the Lions or the Vikings will take the North. Who will be the king of the North? Anyway, they take on the Seahawks, who lost to the Packers 30-13, and it turns out that a lot of Seahawks fans were not there usually. They left the game because Sam Howell actually had to start because Geno Smith hurt his ankle in the third quarter, and Sam Howell had to step in. And remember Sam Howell. I used to hate Sam Howell. He was on the Commanders, and he was just flat-out garbage. He was just bad. And you know what? I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one. I think Minnesota is going to win this game. The Vikings are unstoppable this season. They are 12-2. I thought they're going to be like 5-8 at this time. But 12 wins and 2 losses. Sam Darnold is looking like he's going to get comeback player of the year. I know it. I'm going to call it. Sam Darnold, he's been amazing. Justin Jefferson, outstanding, breaking records. Jordan Addison, very good. Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson. That Vikings team is magical, and I'm going to go with them. Vikings will beat the Seahawks 31-7. Vikings will be 13-2. Seahawks will be 8-7. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got an AFC East matchup between the 3-11 Patriots and the 11-3 Bills. Patriots are here after they're coming back from Arizona, getting blown out by Arizona 30-17. Drake May needs some improvement. I think they're either going to get Travis Hunter in the draft or Mason Graham or whoever. Because, again, the Patriots need some help. They got Drake May. They're going to be really rebuilding. You know, Gerard Mayo's no Bill Belichick, and he will never be a Bill Belichick. However, they're going to be in Buffalo against the Bills, who completely beat the Lions. They beat the best team in the NFC 48-42. So I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one. The Bills are a really good team. I think they could make a Super Bowl appearance if the Chiefs don't have Mahomes. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though, but I'm going to go with Buffalo. The Bills will beat the Patriots 30-13. Bills will be 13-3. No, Bills will be 12-3. Patriots will be 3-12. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a Tank Bowl battle, actually. We have the 3-11 Jaguars and the 2-12 Raiders. Mac Jones and Desmond Ridder. 425, guys. Mark your calendars. The Jaguars and Raiders are both coming back from losses. Jaguars are here after losing to the Jets. They're going on to Vegas against the Raiders, who actually lost to Atlanta 15-9. Desmond Ridder couldn't get his revenge on his own team. Desmond Ridder is probably going to be starting this game. Oh, my God. This Raiders team is just flat out garbage. I either think they're going to get Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or Quinn Ewers or Jalen Milroe. We don't know yet. But the Raiders really need to rebuild. I don't think Antonio Pierce is the answer. I think he was just good as an interim. So I'm going to go with them, though, because the Jaguars are just bad. Mac Jones threw for an interception. Mac Jones is just not great. Trevor Lawrence is done for the whole season. I think they're either going to get Travis Hunter or the Patriots may get Travis Hunter. But I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. Raiders will beat the Jaguars 29-26. Raiders will be 3-12. Jaguars will be 3-12 as well. We move on with the next game. Coming up at our next game, we got a battle of the 6-8. The 6-8 49ers and the 6-8 Dolphins. Both teams are coming back from losses. 49ers are here after they're coming back from their loss against the Rams in that crappy Thursday night game, 12-6. You know, that 49ers team has a lot of injuries right now. They are banged up. They're just not a good team. They're just really bad right now. They're going on to Miami against the Dolphins, who almost beat the Texans. But again, Tua isn't doing that great because they have a hard schedule. I thought the Dolphins were going to be like either the winners with the Jets in the AFC East this whole season, I thought. But I was completely wrong. I'm going to go with the Dolphins because they're at home in Miami and the 49ers are just banged up. The 49ers are not making the playoffs. And I was actually right with a prediction. I knew Will Levis was going to get benched. I wrote that down on my predictions and I was completely correct. I think the 49ers are going to miss the playoffs. That's also on the list. So I'm going to go with Miami on this one. Dolphins will beat the 49ers 33-21. Dolphins will be 7-8. 49ers will drop to be 6-9. We move on with our next game. Coming up with our next game for Sunday Night Football, we got the 8-6 Buccaneers and the 6-8 Cowboys. Buccaneers, my oh my, Tampa Bay has been on fire. They have won 4 straight games. Ever since their bye week, they have been better. Bucky Irving is looking like a very good player, the rookie from wherever. He's been doing really good with Baker Mayfield. I thought they were going to be bad without Chris Godwin after he suffered an injury back in October, early November. But Bucky Irving has been great. Mike Evans has been great. Whatchamacallit's been great. Jalen McMillan's been doing great. Baker Mayfield, amazing. I think they could win the division. However, they got swept by the Falcons earlier this season, back in like October. They had a really rough start, but I'm going to go with them over the Cowboys because the Cowboys, they're here after they beat the Panthers. Cooper Rush is still a really good player. However, Zach Martin is hurt. A lot of people on the Cowboys are hurt, and we somehow lost to them. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on this one. It's in Dallas. I don't even know why this is the Sunday night game, but who cares? Buccaneers will beat the Cowboys 29-13. Buccaneers will be 9-6. Cowboys will go on to be 6-9. We move on with our next game. And last but not least for this week for Monday Night Football, we got the 5-9 Saints and the 10-4 Packers. Saints are here after they almost won against my Commanders, but they lost. They are out of the playoffs almost, but they're clearly in still apparently to the playoff picture, which is really weird. But they're going on to Green Bay against the Packers, who won against the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football, 30-13. They have 10 wins. The NFC North all have 10 wins except for the Bears, who are 4-10. I find that funny. I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. The Packers are a better team. They're in Wisconsin. They're in Lambeau Field. I think it's an easy win for Green Bay. Packers will beat the Saints 19-3. Packers will be 11-4. Saints will drop to 5-10. And that is it for this week, everybody. Tune in next week for Anthony's NFL Picks Week 17, which will be premiering next Tuesday, December 24th, a.k.a. Christmas Eve, a.k.a. which may be a Christmas special. But anyway, this is Anthony signing off, and have a great week and a Merry Christmas. Oh, wait, that's next week, but still, have a great week.